Has AI killed tech jobs? Well, no, and yes, and possibly in the future. But more on that in a moment. Hi, my name's Bruce. I'm an engineer, worked in tech for a long time. Big tech, banks, startups, a variety of things. And I'm really interested in what's happening to tech and engineering as a career right now. It's never been quite as interesting as it is now. I don't think we've seen the depth of what people are facing, even in the midst of the big crash, the global financial crash. I am just curious what it's like for the people starting out in an engineering career, thinking about going into tech, trying to figure out how to start, and to work out what paths still exist that we can get the next generation of engineers ready, happy, enjoying their careers, and not being afraid that AI or layoffs or the changes in tech mean that there isn't a future for them in them. Because engineering is fun. It always has been to me, it always has been to many people I know. And I think it's a great career if you're the right shaped thinker for it, if you enjoy the right things. And this channel is going to be about a bunch of data, a bunch of opinions, a bunch of chats to people in and out of tech, educators, figuring out the path that you can take if you're an early career person or still at university or thinking about going to university and becoming a tech industry focused engineer. Let's dive in. So back to AI. AI as we know it today, the large language model, the last generation of AI that we've had lots of generations before, they all did slightly interesting things, is new. It can do things no previous generation of AI could do. Also true of the last generation, also true of the generation before that. It's not new in that sense. It can do things that are surprising. I think the biggest surprise to people is it can do things that we'd secretly, but without real knowledge or rigor, had decided that only people could do, special human creative things, though generating kind of garbage text or very silly looking images, humanish things. One of the things it can do is generate code. There's a lot of criticism of AI. It's a plagiarism machine. It's a fancy autocorrect and things like that. But it can genuinely solve problems that it hasn't seen before by applying patterns and generation to those patterns. But it can also not solve problems that it has seen before, or solve them in a slightly wrong way, or do a variety of things. It's quite interesting. It's fascinating. If you haven't played with it, you should play with it. It's like all new tech. It's fun to play with. But a lot of people, mostly non-technical people, have come out with great gusto and said, no one needs to know how to program anymore because AI will do it. AI will do it for you. Magical AI things. That does not seem to be true. It is absolutely the case that it can act as an assistant to an engineer. If you know what you're doing, it can act as kind of a dumb junior engineer who you have to very carefully check the work of, and maybe that makes you go faster. It almost certainly means you're not keeping in practice with certain skills that make you better at being an engineer and writing your own code. So you do lose some tedious stuff, you get to go faster. It means you spend more of your time and effort on the stressful part of trying to work out whether the crazy student you're working with has done something stupid and needs to be corrected or fixed or whatever else. So anxiety and stress, absolutely higher than a sort of zen, simply writing out code. You get to the end faster and you feel exhausted. I'm not sure that's a great trade-off. I'm sure many employers would think it is. But that's not a threat to engineers. Kind of. Actually, it's a huge threat to engineers. It's not a threat to the engineers we have today. Although I do think this ability to write generic, not well-checked code that may or may not work has more or less eliminated the need that any industry might have for the graduates of the bootcamp programs, the now widely recognized as a scam promise that with a simple contribution of money and future earnings, anyone can turn themselves into a software engineer. That's never been true. It's no more true than you can become a software engineer by going to an excellent university and doing exactly all the units in your course and never playing with those things yourself, never doing anything in your own time, showing up to a job and going, I've done a degree. Am I not now a software engineer? Can I not now work? Well, no, you can't. And this is very confronting to people who have been sold this idea that you show up university, do the units, and you're done. It's probably true for many things, but it's not true for applied computer science, software engineering, programming, call it what you will, because that's an art. You need practice and you need experience in trying to do things and failing to do things and working out why those things didn't work and building up the scars and techniques to correct your own failings. Now, in order to use an AI programming assistant in a useful way, you need to come pre-built with that knowledge of what good and bad looks like, how to evaluate whether something is correct, and if it is not correct, how to fix it. The best AI coding assistant-y thing we have today will generate quite good, adequate code, kind of like they do text, most of the time, and will come up with startlingly stupid things sometimes. And if you can't tell the difference, you're sunk. I don't know how you could make progress with this, just hacking away at it until it works. Maybe that's cutting and pasting from Stack Overflow for the modern day. I don't know. What I'm most worried about as a more experienced engineer who's been doing this for a long time is what this means to the next generation of engineers. The thing that I'm most worried about is that the tasks that an AI assistant is most good at are precisely the tasks that we would use to give a junior engineer some experience on cutting their teeth on some programming work, on a small starter project, as tech tends to call them, that we'd get someone starting on so they can learn the tools and understand how things get together and often get that little frisson of, I've achieved something because I've got something to work, which is not trivial. That's the heart of being able to build up momentum and actually be useful and work as an engineer. If you can't do that, I don't know how you can persist with this. It's not an easy career to actually put that much focus and attention and constant learning into. So AI could destroy the way we make new engineers very easily. I suspect some people in accounting or mathematics or something felt similarly towards calculators when people had less reliance on mental arithmetic. But at the same time, it's much more like when we had symbolic math engines like your Mathematica and so on, when the much deeper world of stuff started to become doable with tools, and people who were experienced absolutely used them as tools to go faster in mathematics. And we never taught basic mathematics using symbolic reasoning engines, even when they existed, because it would take away all of the opportunity for people to actually learn what's going on. Well, here's what LLMs are doing in computer science. Almost exactly the same thing. And I'm concerned as to what this means for the next generation of engineers. This is why I'm doing this. That's why I'm talking through this. I want to provide a path and some inspiration for the next generation of engineers to become better, become curious, actually pursue a career and honestly take the baton. Figure out what happens next in tech, figure out what we're going to build and do next. And I want to talk about some of the things I and the people I've worked with have done over the years, some of the things that I found interesting, some of the small, trivial things that were kind of fun, just to provide a path, something that people can concentrate on and maybe run with, maybe be inspired by, and hopefully become engineers at the end of it. I'm curious what you're interested in. I'm curious if there's anything that's caught your attention here. Drop a comment. Let me know. I will keep making these videos as I pull a bunch of topics together, as I find better backdrops and better production values and better sound at some point. And I'm just curious, what would help you become an engineer? Let me know. Thanks.